in the morning every weekday and join Akinloye on Cradle Radio. Every weekday and join Akinloye on Cradle Radio.
This is Cradle Radio.
This is Cradle Radio. This is Cradle Radio.
This is Cradle Radio. This is Cradle Radio.
right, everybody possibly will be listening now. Good morning, good morning, good morning, good morning, everybody listening. All right, I'm listening to myself back. What's going on? All right, some of the things about the technicalities of engaging yourself as regards broadcasting. Give me a minute in here, okay? 1 minute, and we'll be right with you. Alrighty. Okay, now we're set. Good morning. With the lights, okay? Good morning. I say good morning to you in my own way, in my own unique way. My name is Akinloye, and this is when I say, this is Canada.
Wake up in the morning every weekday and join Akinloye on Cradle Radio.
It's always a blessing to be here. It's always a blessing to at least grace this spotlight, and being here means a lot. And I would always, give the glory of everything to my creator, the one that birthed me, in the spiritual sense of the world itself. It's not just about me having to come from my parents, but my soul came from somewhere. And that's why I always give glory to God for each and every moment that I'm here in this space and time. My name is Akinloye, and this is CradleRadio's This is Canada. Now, This is Canada is a show that's tailored to highlight the various happenings, events, social, cultural, political, economic, or even cultural factors happening around Canada. So if you are a friend of Canada, as I literally put it, or if you're a friend of Canada, or friends of Canada, definitely you could be a part of this. And from any place in the world, or you watching me now, you probably can engage yourself in a tete-a-tete, discuss that, might reflect on happenings around the world as well that might be helpful in your own part of the world. And hopefully the people that are in a place of authority can get to borrow a thing or two from here, and hopefully that will help them in having to go around their duties, the very duty that they were voted in power for. And I'm talking about people who are having to be in a world where democracy is being practiced in all the places as well. Hopefully people can borrow one thing or two from that. Now, to be a part of the show, all you got to do is be a part of our social media handles, the likes of, I'll say practically all social media handles. We are Cradle Radio in there. And besides that, you're watching the live stream. I'm assuming you're watching. So if you're watching the live stream on Facebook and YouTube as well. So if you subscribe to our YouTube channel, you'll be able to watch this and also contribute your own quarter to the existence of mankind, as I like to call it. If you have any questions for us, if you have any other suggestions as well, you can always write us on info@cradleradio.com. We'll always put that in there, info@cradleradio.com. And at the end of the day, it's all about just, being in tune with yourself, being in tune with what you have, and then the show must go on. Yesterday was a short one. We did say we were going to have a part two of what we discussed yesterday. And we would not be leaving with that. We would not be, drawing the curtain on that episode without having to, go through all of this. Okay, I'm hearing myself from Cradle Radio. So we're live in 3 different places. We're broadcasting live on Cradle Radio, and we're borrowing actions and events in the studios, in the Cradle Studios, into live streaming, so you could have a feel of it. So if you're on Cradle Radio, definitely you're listening to a live show, so it's not recorded in any way. Sometimes we have a rebroadcast of earlier done shows. Definitely we'll do that later in the day, but not in the morning hour, especially as it concerns Mondays through Thursday, where we have all of this and a whole lot more. We have so many things that we are having up our sleeves. In due course of time, you're going to be hearing about that, and you will be in the know of that as well. All right, let's say good morning to Good morning to Tolashe. Good morning, Tolashe. Where are you in this part of the world this morning? It's always a pleasure having you here. You know, you make me want to do this show most times, I tell you, because I know you're going to be there. Not like I don't want to do it. Sometimes you're tired too, especially if it's been a long night. But I'm appreciative of your presence here each and every time. Really, really, thank you so very much. All righty. Now, we were talking about something yesterday. And because time was short, we decided to have a part 2 of that same discussion today. And what we were discussing yesterday was something that is synonymous to people living around here. I can't speak for every part of the world, but I can speak for here. And it's something that mostly affects newcomers. Newcomers having to grace this land, having to have all their expectations as regards what's going to be, what will be, and what will be happening around in this beautiful land of ours. And when they do come around, what comes to their mind, their mindset is having to gotta do what you gotta do, right? You're in a new land, things are happening, and hence, if you see on screen right now, you see that topic that we were talking about yesterday. It's a headliner. And it says, qualified but rejected. How Canadian experience keeps newcomers locked out of success. This is a part 2. We did the part 1 yesterday, and we will be talking about this still till today. It needs to be told. It needs to be set out there. It needs to be debated on, as I would like to put it. And it might be in other parts of the world, they don't have this system where newcomers come in. And when they do come in, they're required to, how do I put it, to have something called a Canadian experience. So be you're a doctor, be you're an engineer, be you're a broadcaster, or, from all walks of life, a teacher or some sort, you probably need a Canadian experience in your resume to be, even to be looked upon in a way. Looked upon is not the best way to put it. To be conceded, having to have engaged in working in Canada. And my question every other time as regards this system is, what does that mean? Does that really matter? People arrive with skills. People arrive with experiences and dreams, ready to contribute to a country that promised opportunity. About thousands of newcomers, one phrase keeps shutting their door, every door on them, and this is Canadian experience. Now, this morning takes us into inside a system that welcomes talent but wastes it, and ask, is this a hidden discrimination no one wants to talk about? That's what I feel, that's what I think, and that's what we're talking about this morning. Really want to know about it. If you have if you're already our follower on our social media handles, definitely you will be able to be a part of this and have your comment being heard and highlighted on screen as well. If you've not, kindly join our social media handles, and we'll be talking. We'll be engaging ourselves in an intelligent discourse as it affects mankind and as it affects people living in Canada. Mankind, basically, because somebody can borrow from whatever has been said today. And I keep looking at it every time, and what comes to my mind is just, why waste so much talent that abounds in a space? There are doctors who can treat patients, engineers who can't build, teachers who can't teach. For newcomers into this land, this is for you guys, all right? And now don't look at it and go like, okay, is it because he's trying to cater for certain demography of people? No, I'm not trying to do that. The truth just needs to be said at all times, especially when you look at things from a broader perspective. I'm not trying to sway anybody and criticize a flawless system. If it was flawless, I wouldn't even talk about it. I would applaud it. I would talk about it in a grandeur way. And but in a case where You have brilliant minds around you, and most of them are driving the Uber. Come on, man. Driving, and I'm not saying driving that is bad, but driving that is not progress. Oh yeah, you have professionals in all walks of life having to become cabbies, having to deliver food, having to do so much work that denigrates them as humans. And I'm not saying those jobs are bad. Listen, man, it all depends on what you're looking for in life. But I'm saying that anybody that's a thorough professional that came into this land is not expecting to be driving. I don't want to say, I already mentioned names. Or you know what? People driving, pick people up, this and that, and this. Having to have so much drivers on the road picking up people doesn't mean that country is prosperous. It's not. You try to think in the mind of those people driving those people. And the worst part about it is you just see some dumb fuckers, sitting, pardon my language, sometimes profanity just, swings in. Just swings in. And it's matured radio anyway, so you got to just, profanity will just bounce in sometimes. I'm not trying to beep it out. It's an expression as far as I'm concerned. I was driving yesterday and I looked at this beautiful piece of steel, and that's what I call a vehicle. I'm driving, I'm looking at it, and I'm seeing this, sometimes when you drive, you look sideways, don't you? And this is what I was doing, and I was telling Larry yesterday, I said, listen, look at that guy looking nice and all that in his probably 2025 vehicle, and this guy just sits in behind. I just think there's a way that people want to feel good when being driven. I'm not saying it's a bad thing, don't get me wrong. And I know people earn, mathematically, if you calculate it, do you actually earn doing it? Some might say, it depends on what you're looking for. But there are a certain set of people who are fashioned to do that. But so many other people who don't have a choice, and that's why they're doing that. So if that hits you hard this morning, let me know. In my mind, I'm just thinking out loud, right? Sometimes in the morning, I just like, So when you hear from the ministries that says, we created so jobs in a month, my question to anybody who publishes that out is, where are the jobs? As of yesterday, I was still looking through resumes, people looking for job. In earnest, they were looking for it, and it draws me to the conclusion that there are no jobs anywhere. I don't want to, if you know there is a job somewhere, post it for people to apply. And one of the craziest part about it, in a system where people looking for jobs desperately, when they're looking for jobs desperately, people feed off of that desperation as well. The hounds of this world who are ready to collect some people's personal details, and people get frauded on job websites as well. So I heard. I know a young man that was promised a job at a point in time, and he was happy. He wanted to prove a point, especially to his parent. He wanted to tell them that, listen, I can do it myself as well. It should be something that could be done at any given time. When I say newcomers, students are newcomers as well. It's not just only professionals. Because sometimes some of them students that you see are actually professionals from their country before coming in here. They only needed a pathway to come in Canada. That's why they had to go through the route of being a student and having to come in here so that they can stabilize and be a part of a system. But a system that's not prepared for them. It's just my thought process this morning. Good morning, everybody. If you're just joining me, my name is Akiloye, and this is Canada. And don't get me wrong, I love my Canada. I love my country. in every bit of way. Yes, I do. I do. But when you hear daters that don't connect, and you hear daters that don't connect, what draws your inquisition is where are these guys getting their datas from on a daily? In a society, there are different classes of people, and I'm not saying it to be egalitarian in my thinking process. I'm not saying that. There will be people that will want to work as union workers. That's what I mean when I go, differentiating different types of people. And you might have people that will be, I'll say, construction workers, for sure. That's a good job for some people. There will be people that would not, go through that route, that will go the route of executives. There will be people that will not go through that route as well, that will go through the route of starters, which is understandable, especially when you have all of this, up and doing in a country, in a world where everything is meant to be, if not perfected, everything is meant to be in order. That's just what I think. That's just what's on my mind. So I'm thinking, why in the world do we have situations where all you just gotta do, all you just gotta have, all you need to be a part of, what are you being a part of, is going down the ladder. Going down the ladder. Well, let's see, hopefully we're in YouTube today. All right, we're on YouTube as well. Excellent. All right, so at the end of the day, what comes to my mind is that why do people need to go down before they can sustain themselves? And we're not talking about a new land of 18 something or 17 something. There was a time where so many people came from Asia, Europe, and people were taken from Africa as well to come into a new land. That's a new land. In a system where you need professionals this time around. You're not just looking for buddies. You're looking for professionals. You're looking for people that would make the country to be sustainable in its state, in its appearance, in its expectations, and its perceived technological know-how in the whole world. First world country, that's what I mean in total. But you're not going there. You're rather bringing in people to serve on people. And don't get me wrong, people do come from different routes and different ways. Some people come via the means of, wanting to work on farms. It's understandable. That's not a bad thing. We need food. Right? It's a form of business as well, if you know what I mean. It's a form of business as well. But in the case where some have different ways of going about stuff. And in some provinces, I hope that it's being implemented in a thorough way. The provinces like Ontario have banned Canadian experience as a hiring condition. But is that being perfected on a plain platform? But enforcement of it is party. How do you enforce employers for not complying with the regulations stipulated by the province? And for newcomers, the law means little without real accountability. It's easier said than done. You could come in live and say, oh yeah, we're banning this and that. But what about the structure in place for that? Checking up on those that are still requesting for that as a way of hindering people to move forward. This is my thought process in the morning hour. My name is Akinloye. This is Canada, people. Sometimes I look at it, I'm waking up in the morning, I can't just comprehend it. I just can't get it, deep within my mind to understand the true nature of all of this. I call it shenanigan in a political way, but in real sense of it affects everyday life of a newcomer. Expert estimates that Canada loses billions every year in untapped immigrant talent. That's true. That's so true. That's so true. From healthcare to construction, sectors struggling to fill jobs could be transformed if barriers are removed. Now you look at that and you ask yourself, why has the barrier not been lifted in some certain quarters? And in places where it's been banned, what about the implementation of that ban? What about the implementation of that ban? Not everybody should be working in a factory. It's not a factory zone. If you want people to take you serious, you'd better start acting serious. And that's why, till date, you will still look like as an underdog to the Wild Wild West when it concerns tariff and all that you're talking about. Because analytically, it's observed that you're not self-sustaining. And don't get me wrong this morning, I'm not trying to chastise my country. Like I say, I love my country. I'm Canadian through and through. It's not a case of me having to want to just, put some shade on my country. No. It's about drawing the consciousness of everyone to what's obtainable in this present space and time and age. Y'all gotta know about it, because you could say this and that. You could have the best person in any field in Canada, and that person will be serving coffee. You're gonna bring an engineer, you're gonna bring a genius into the country, and they'll be picking up grapes. Now just think about it. Think about it. That guy passing by you, who's jumping on the bus, might just be the next person who's gonna just create something that the world needs and the world is going to be in demand of. But if it's picking up on grapes, if it's having to sit in front of a till selling stuff from a dollar store, how would all these be achieved to the benefit of a country that is being promised heaven on earth to come into? It's just the way I think. It's just my process. And when I'm in the zone like this, I love it. Definitely. Definitely. Expert estimates that Canada is losing billions every year in untapped immigrant talent. You're losing billions because what you think you're making off of service or distribution, or what's that word that they use now in distribution? I've forgotten that word. Anyways, some of logistics distribution, it's like, I've forgotten that. But anyways, whatever you think you're making, it's a paltry sum to what you can make if you utilize the potentials that abounds in this place as of now. As of now. You see people having to delete. Don't get me wrong. I order food aside as well. I order food to be brought to my doorstep. And when I see the person bringing the food, I'm looking at it and I'm shaking my head. Not to look down on that person, but to look upon the realization that Canada is not even doing good when it concerns that. For a person who is a thoroughbred professional, after executing their professional attributes on a daily, that profession should be able to sustain them in a way that they don't have to do deliveries of food. And all our young cats, all our young kids, all our younger ones have been so entitled to the point that even if they want to buy something off a supermarket of $5, they order it because there will be somebody bringing it. Now look at it from a health perspective. I know I'm not a health professional, so don't go like, oh yeah, are you a professional? Because those are the distractions that people bring about when having comments and discussions. No, I'm not. So let's drop that on each other. I'm not. But I look at it like, if people go pick up their groceries. And a whole lot of businesses might not like me today, but the real truth needs to be said. If you go pick up your groceries, possibly you might engage with somebody while picking up that grocery of yours. And this is another thing. We've become isolated in our interactions as humans because we don't go out no more. Because the newcomers coming in are delivering all of this for us, including taking us from point A to B. Where is the prosperity in that? And I'm just saying this, not for the fact that it's an impossibility. I'm saying it because there needs to be a change in this. There needs to be a change across the whole spectrum. There needs to be a change where people can come in and do what they want to do. A lawyer comes in Canada after passing the integrated bar examination that allows him to, practice. He should be allowed to practice. Should be allowed to practice. The many the merrier. The many the merrier. But if they cannot do that, when a reputable lawyer coming in from another part of the world that feels, you know what, I just want a safe country for my family and I'm just gonna go to this country, finish up with the examinations and all that, and eventually I'll just integrate into the system. When a lawyer starts driving people around and delivering food, there is a problem. When a lawyer, a qualified one, of high repute, is doing deliveries of food, there is a problem. And a way of saying this experience and that experience, you're losing out on the bigger picture. Psychologically, that's what I call madness in a broader scale. You're losing out on the bigger picture. People that could effectively change the dynamics of this country are being in servitude in ways that dehumanizes and demeans them. I'm just saying. Hey, well, it's not going to be a case of this and that, because back in the day, I was one of those people, trying to say, oh yeah, you know what, I'm going to do this and do that. But it took me a whole lot of years to create what I created to be self-sustaining. But not everybody has the patience for that. Not everybody can say to themselves, oh, you know what? I'm going to own a TV station, for instance. People got needs. People got expectations. And then we all sit down and look at people serving us. You're like, yeah, If the system was foolproof, we shouldn't have cases where you have truck drivers that can't speak English or French. I tell you exactly what happened yesterday, and this is when you say, oh yeah, it's the system. You could probably just, engage me in a debate and say, it's the system. It's the system that people found in this country, and that's the way it's going to be. This is how the founding fathers did this and that. Oh, come on, man. Go wash up your sleeves, man. I saw yesterday, and I looked at it, and in my mind, I'm saying, practically, all, and maybe not all, but practically all our departments that has been set aside by the government practically needs to be overhauled. I tell you, why am I saying this? I'll choose, what's the easiest one to choose from? I'm not trying to bash them, just trying to say, listen, you think the system is structured in a way that, not being rigid, I'm not saying it's rigid, structured in a way that it works? No, it doesn't work. No, it's not working. And I'll tell you the reason why. Let's take, for instance, driving. You got drivers all around, right? We're not talking truck drivers now. We talked about that earlier in the week. But I'm saying drivers in general. to get a driver's license I'll use Ontario as a case study now. To get a driver's license in here, you need to go through something called Service Ontario. Or Service Ontario, in the Wild Wild West, they call it a DMV, Directorate of Motor Vehicles, but here it's Service Ontario. Service Ontario administers you having to get a license. Or if you want to transfer your license from agreed state, right? For instance, when I came to Canada, I just, ducked in my U.S. driver's license, and what I did was I swapped it. That's an arrangement between the U.S. and Canada. That's understandable. So I just dropped in my New York license, and I got the Ontario license, and its equivalent. And that was done. Because practically the driving style and the driving arrangement and the knowledge base driving skills is similar. It's the same, practically the same. Signs are the same. You see Hoove Lane, you see Diamond, it's the same. So instructions on those roads are practically the same. So that's understandable. But for new drivers who want to come into the country and do their stuff, what they will be requested to do is to go through a test or knowledge-based test from Service Ontario, which is probably theoretical. You'll probably sit down and you get your G2. A G2 is, I think, that's kind of the starting point. All right, that's kind of the starting point. All right, it's then you go for after your G2. Oh, is it okay? Before you do the test, you get a G1. Hopefully, I'm right this morning. I'm just trying to see. Is it G1? Oh, yeah, you get your G1 immediately. You will pass the test, which can serve as your state ID as well. And then you go do a test. You get a G2. You get a G2. A G2 is you could drive by yourself. A G1 is like a learner's permit, kind of, right? So a G2, you drive by yourself without no supervision of some sort, except there's some little bit of restrictions here and there, but you could drive the car yourself. Then, after a year of that, hopefully I'm in tune this morning. After a year of that, you get your full G, which has no restrictions whatsoever. So I've been doing that. You should be able to drive. Now, this is where I'm drawing to this morning. I was in a car yesterday, and I wasn't even alone. So it's not a case of me just, fictitiously dreaming about this off of the top of my head. No, I wasn't doing that. It was a case of I just saw somebody coming to me on a one-way. I'm messing with you, right? We're talking about it was on a. I'm not good with remembering them roads at all times. But we were on, if you take a left off of Weber and Kitchener, and you going towards, what's this street again? So there's a one-way somewhere around there. I'm on my path, like other drivers are. And I saw this lady just coming and facing me head on, man. I'm like, what the? All right, that profanity ain't coming out. So I looked at it, and in my mind, I'm saying, what? I blasted my horns. What you doing? You trying to kill somebody or what? She still didn't even turn back. She made sure she maneuvered up to a point where she got on the road going against traffic on a one-way. And in my thinking, I'm saying, this might be an individual or a solo act, but how did that person get their license in the first instance? How come that person doesn't even know how to identify a one-way if the system is foolproof? So I'm drawing that into the fact that the system definitely isn't. And I've seen so many crazy drivers in the last 3-4 years that I've never seen in my life before. So if you're saying the system is foolproof, how about that? So the system that allows people to now say, getting back to what we're talking about, to say, oh, you know what? You need a Canadian experience. What kind of experience are you talking about? Experience of what? Of selling coffee? Come on, get out of here.
Wake up in the morning every weekday and join Akinloye on Cradle Radio.
One of the beauties of having to be here is having to say the truth at all times. Nothing but the truth. That's just my principle and my philosophy. And whatever I'm saying this morning is not to debase my country. This is my beloved country. It's not that. The reason for saying or pinpointing this and highlighting this morning is the need for a change. For a change. It's a vicious circle. It's a vicious cycle, yeah. A vicious one. Tim, you gotta correct that, all right? I can't be editing while on live TV or radio for you. It's a vicious cycle. You need a Canadian experience to get a job in some provinces. And the province that abolished it is practically not assigning people to find out if it's been implemented by all stakeholders. You try to fill up a job form or apply for something, he's still going to be asking you as part of their inquisition about your experience. Do you have a Canadian experience? What is that? But you need a job to gain a Canadian experience. Are you asking people like, do you have a Canadian experience? How are they gonna have a Canadian experience when you don't offer them the job? Is that not rhetorical in its approach? It's just one of the things that I want to know. I'm just curious enough to wanting to know this morning on This Is Canada. Now, I'm not saying my beloved Canada is not that country that is beautiful enough for you to sell everything that you have from wherever you're coming from to come and reboot, restart, or re-emerge. I'm not saying that. I'm not saying. No, don't get me wrong. A lot of people going to say this morning too that, but I still want to come in there. Yeah, it is a beautiful place. I wouldn't trade it for the world, man. I wouldn't. But there's certain things that needs to be affected in the best form so that we can just keep continuing to glide up the stairs, if you know what I mean. While the country faces critical labor shortages, skilled newcomers are left on the sidelines. Somebody did ask us yesterday if he can get a job from us. And I'm looking at it like this. And a young man who wants to work, who believes in dedication to work, was filled with dreams, with a hope, with a belief that he just wants to work. And if he starts working, his life, or in this case, her life, who knows, might just take a better shape. I don't know, man. I don't know. This is a place where dreams are possible. Where you're gonna bite your teeth before it becomes possible. And one of the reasons why I love the plate number, I don't know whether they still have that inscription on Ontario plates still. It says, yours to discover. Yours to discover. That's what it says on the Ontario plate. But what can I say? What will I say? Hopefully somebody's listening this morning, and hopefully somebody can just call people to order, call stakeholders to order. For newcomers, the journey doesn't end at the airport. It begins with proving their worth all over again. Validation, recertification, re-emergence. of their being, of their professional attributes. They came to build a future, but too often, the country that asks for their skills refuses to let them use them. How highly skilled are you when you cannot prove that you're endowed with that skill because the system that requested for you being highly skilled is not even testing you out? But that's just my thought process this morning. Don't forget, join our social media handles, and now you will be a part of this show. Don't forget also, you can send your emails and your inquiries about different things as it affects this show to info@CradleRadio.com. If you do that, you'll definitely be a part of this show. All right, I'm just going to put it on screen for you so you can see it. A place to send your emails to is info@CradleRadio.com. info@CradleRadio.com. This is not days in which you just want to fire somebody, people. It's just not one of those days. info@CradleRadio.com. That's what's on your screen right now. If you have any information for us, investigation that you want us to be a part of, I'll kindly send in that. And if you have press conferences that you want our team, our reporters to actually be a part of as well, send invitations to us through that. info@CradleRadio.com. The whole essence of having This Is Canada is not to chastise the people in the place of authority, but to draw your attention to the plight of an average, everyday Canadian. And hopefully you could have one thing or the other that will be or could be borrowed from this kind of talk, especially as it concerns the people you're all representing. That's just my thought. All right, I just want to tell you that tomorrow we'll be having a special interview with my friend, my brother, Manu Olsen, all the way from Sweden. I don't even know where Manu is right now. Maybe he's in France or Sweden, but tomorrow we're going to find out. And he's having a 10-year production that eventually came to limelight. All right, Back to Josie, it calls that one. Kind of like it, really like it. We'll probably roll it at the end of the show. So if you're on Cradle Radio, you're going to enjoy it immediately after we finish the show. Because we're rolling on YouTube. I don't want them sending me all this stuff. I have the right to play all those songs, but I'm not in the mood for emails and all that today, you know. So we'll be having a special interview tomorrow. And that's going to be, I think, 1 p.m. my time. I will confirm that for you tomorrow morning on tomorrow's show. And we'll be having three-point interview. I'll be connecting to Europe. I'll be connecting to South Africa with the artist that he had this album with. So we'll have a three-portal discussion tomorrow while rolling the tracks for you. It's going to be a special edition, and you'll be on the watch for that. We'll be going to live stream that as well. We'll definitely live stream it. It's been a long time coming. I've wanted to have a hang of, they call him, in France, they call him Trinidad, Manu Olsen. That boy sings, man. That's my boy. That's my brother from another mother. We'll be having a special edition of that interview tomorrow, and it will be aired, live from the stable as well as transmitted live on Cradle Radio. So we'll do the whole shebang tomorrow with him having an interview. But definitely we're still having a show tomorrow. Tomorrow is Thursday, so we'll, by the special grace of God, we'll be having the last show for the week tomorrow, and we'll be taking it from there. So I haven't said that. Tomorrow is going to be loaded with so many things from the stables of Cradle Radio, and we'll be expecting your comments as well with all our previous shows that we've posted online. So try to go through our page. We are Cradle Radio on Facebook, Cradle Radio on YouTube, Cradle Radio everywhere. So once you punch in Cradle Radio, you're definitely gonna be here. You're definitely not gonna miss anything. Punch it in and just listen live. If you're in your car, connect with your Bluetooth on your devices, and you could be listening to the best of music. 97% African coming from this stable, and we'll be doing it. And yes, Roland Manu is African as well, so he qualifies to be here. And I'm just saying, if you do a duet with an African, definitely you're gonna be here. We still have a marginal difference of 3% that could still accommodate all the genres of music. So definitely, you're not restricted in any way. We just try to push everything. We want to push the boundaries, just break the ceiling up there. And we'll get to a desired state at the end of the day. My name is Akinloye. Yes, it's been a pleasure doing this. I'm thankful for having to relieve myself of that bother as concerning qualified but rejected how Canadian experience keeps newcomers locked out of success. The part 2. We'll call it a wrap with that one. No more transmission resumes on Cradle Radio. Until tomorrow, I say stay blessed, stay hopeful, and don't ever stop believing in yourself. Have a great day.
Wake up in the morning every weekday and join Akinloye on Cradle Radio.
This is Cradle Radio.
This is Cradle Radio. This is Cradle Radio.